Type Soul has a lot of mysteries, and today I'm gonna bust those. Now, I have created a list of some of these myths that I would love to bust. Dude, that sounds so wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I invented this idea. I think this has been done for plenty of other games. However, no one's done it for Type Soul. So let's improve our game knowledge together, shall we? Also, I would love to do a part 2 to this. So if you want to leave a comment on some myths that you would love for me to bust, let me know down below. I'd love to do more. The first myth that we need to bust is the one from the thumbnail. Can you parry not just the Stark ultimate, but the Visionary ultimate and the Light ultimate? Now, everybody knows that you can parry the Visionary ultimate, and a lot of people know that you can parry the Stark ultimate, but it gets a little bit complicated. As you can see from this clip right here, he started to parry the very beginning of it. However, he wasn't able to consistently parry the entire ultimate. In theory, it is possible to parry the entire ultimate. However, in practice, it is incredibly difficult to pull off. I tried for about an hour myself, and I was never able to do it. But then finally, you have the Light ultimate. No matter how many times I tried to parry the Light ultimate, it was just completely impossible. I would hit F at the perfect moment, but it wouldn't count as a parry. But don't worry, there's a way that we can test this. Wind volt standing. Now, if you don't know how wind volt standing works, you have a move where you hold up your arm and you get 15 auto parries. You can auto parry the Visionary Meteor. You can auto parry the Stark ultimate, but it doesn't let you parry the full thing because the Stark ultimate hits more than 15 times. But then when you test it against the Light ultimate, it doesn't give you any auto parry frames at all, meaning the Light ultimate is not parryable. So in conclusion, you can parry the Visionary Meteor, the Stark ultimate, but not the Light ultimate. So I guess this myth is like halfway busted. I don't even know. But that leads us into the next myth. Can wind auto parry non-parryable moves? Dude, that was like a full alliteration sentence. Now, if you were paying attention, you should know that this is not possible. The Light ultimate is a non-parryable move, and wind could not auto parry it. But just in case you want confirmation, we did it against Visionary Water Prison, and as you can see, it cannot parry it at all. So this myth is busted. The next myth, can you parry all of the 9 hogyoku moves? Now, it is incredibly obvious that Grand Race Arrow is easy to parry, but Zonk Swinger is a little interesting. If you parry the initial hit, the beams do not come down. However, if you get hit and the beams start to come down, you can parry each individual beam. Now, for Itokaso, you can parry the grab, but the most interesting thing is that if they miss the grab, you can still parry the entire beam that comes after. I was only able to recreate this using the wind volt standing, but in theory, it is possible, which I think is pretty cool. So this myth is confirmed. This next one was actually my favorite myth to bust. I thought this one was a cool idea. You can spawn infinite clones with confusion counter. Now, to test this, I had my friend who's really good with confusion counter each and every single one of my M1s. If you didn't know, the way that confusion counter works is every time you land it, it comes off cooldown and spawns a clone. So in theory, you can consistently land the counter over and over and over and spawn an infinite amount of clones. Now, we were able to do this all the way up to almost 40 or 50 clones, but of course, we're only human and we messed up. However, I think if there's no cap at 40 to 50, there probably is not a cap at all, which means once again, in theory, you could probably spawn infinite clones. So I'm gonna say this myth is confirmed. Does the brand new Fire Knight Greatsword have the farthest traveling crit in the game? Now, in order to test this, I gathered what I thought were the farthest traveling crits in the game, except for X-axis. I'll admit I forgot X-axis, but I don't think that's gonna matter, and I think you'll understand in a second. Now, first, we tested the base Quincy weapon, which is Short. This weapon was actually really interesting. The critical doesn't have a set length. Sometimes it travels farther than you would expect, and sometimes it doesn't travel very far at all. Now, next up, I checked out Nell's Lance, and Nell's Lance doesn't go very far. And then I did a Ronkar Abject, which went just about as far as Short does on average. But when we tested the new reworked Quincy Abject, we saw that it goes very, very far. And then when you compare it to the Fire Knight Greatsword crit, the Quincy Abject almost doubles in length. So this myth is busted. The next myth is, what is the highest damaging move in the game? Now, I am like 99% sure that it is going to be one of the 3 ultimates that is the highest damaging move. I could be wrong, and there could definitely be a sleeper pick out there that does way more damage. So feel free to correct me in the comments. However, there are 4 moves that I tested to see if it was the highest damaging move. The first one was Sero Mozzarella, which got me down to about 67%. The second was Light's Ultimate, which got me down to 68%. The third one was Visionary's Meteor, which got me down to 61%. Bro. And finally, I tested 1-inch punch, which got me down to 64%, which means that this myth is confirmed. Visionary Meteor is the highest damaging move in the game. Is Black Flash the lowest damaging ultra skill? Now, obviously, to test this, I had to test every single ultra skill in the game. The first one was Serum W, which did about 10% of my HP. The next one was the brand new Kendo Ultra skill, which did 18%. That does a lot of damage. The next one was Raging Demon, which did 16%. Definitely used to be the highest damaging one until the Kendo Ultra skill. Next was the Quincy Keto Ultra Skill, which did 11%. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this one was gonna do a lot lower damage. And finally, Black Flash only did 7% of my HP, meaning this myth is confirmed. Black Flash is the lowest damaging Ultra Skill. Now, there was a lot of other myths that I had written down, but I actually did not want to test them this video. I think I would love to do a part 2, and I would like to get you guys' input in the comments down below on what I could do. But for example, one of the myths was if you could block Sonata Flow with the right accessories on, which, spoiler, is possible. Now, some of this is extremely common knowledge, like being able to PB Grand Ray Sero, but I think some of it was really interesting, like being able to PB the beam part of Itokaso. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, in conclusion, I hope you guys learned something fun. Let me know if you have more myths for me to bust. My next video is not going to be part 2. It's probably going to be the 10K sub special. It's probably finally going to happen, okay? Maybe it's a little bit late, but it's going to happen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.